Hi, Gemini friends. Welcome to the January 2020 forecast for Gemini. If you have a Gemini rising, moon, or sun sign, I suggest you watch to learn the lessons and challenges you will be facing in January 2020. I've pulled one card from the Soul Coaching deck and 8 cards from the Complete Rider-Waite Tarot deck. This will be a very abbreviated reading because we don't have time to be wasting, do we? Gemini is very busy in January, so like I say, well, and December too, so I'm going to make this reading very brief, but to the point and hit the highlights. And what you're bringing forward as well to really help you move into this new cycle and this new amazing energy. There are thousands and thousands of Geminis out there, and obviously not all will be facing the same lessons or challenges, yeah? So this may not resonate with you, and that's fine. Just pass it on by, and I hope you find what you're looking for. But if it does resonate, I would ask that you watch to the very end because there's usually some surprises around week 3 or 4 of the month because we begin the new energy, and especially in January since we have the Chinese New Year and the beginning of that new cycle as well. Okay, so let's dive right in. I shuffled and Reiki'd the Soul Coaching deck, and this was the card that came forward. And this is really interesting, Gemini. The card is fulfillment. And fulfillment is one of those tricky terms, isn't it? Because are you doing what's making you happy and fulfilling you? And have you found your passion, your joy, those kind of things? And it looks like you have, and you have a better idea of what you need to do to stay in that groove, that vibe of feeling fulfilled and feeling like you're doing the right thing and you're on the right track. And you're bringing that with you into January, which is amazing. And it's a really good card, and it's awesome that you're bringing it forward. Gemini has a hard time sometimes staying focused on things because everything is exciting and new, and Gemini has a wonderful intellect and they always want to be learning and doing and exploring, so sometimes it's really easy to get distracted and hop from one thing to another. And when we do this, we don't end up fulfilled. We end up thinking that if we would just study a little bit more or learn a little bit more about something else, then we would have the answers we're seeking. So this card would mean or would indicate that you are on the right track for personal development, personal fulfillment. Just continue what you're doing in December, bring it on into January, okay? So I have shuffled, and these are the cards that came up for you. The first week in January, we have the 7 of Cups, and this is a really cool card because it basically means anything can happen. You have lots of options, lots of choices, multiple possibilities, multiple opportunities. This is, when it comes up in a reading, I usually tell folks, you can probably win the lottery this week, but you need to wear a helmet while you're buying your ticket. Yeah, because it is anything can happen, both positive and negative. If you can dream it, there is a possibility that it will happen this week. The question is, what do you actually want? And what are you focusing on? What are you making room for in your life? Are you focused on the positive, or are you worrying about the negative? Because that's what you're going to attract, whatever you're focused on. So this card represents lots of options and multiple possibilities. It's open to you. All you have to do is grab on. But it's really easy when this energy is flowing through you to be overwhelmed or to lose your focus. So you need to limit the amount of things you're taking on to a manageable amount. All these wonderful opportunities and offers are coming to you. What do you say yes to and what do you say no to? Gemini by default is more likely to overcommit rather than to be cautious and to only pick one thing. And that's cool, but when we start agreeing to do things that we can't give the sufficient amount of time to, then we're setting ourselves up for self-sabotage and for mediocre at best results, and you don't want that. Really work on being realistic, looking at the big picture and seeing how much time, how much effort, how much money it's going to take to commit to these different opportunities. And like I say, it could also signify that something negative is going to happen too, because it's a card of anything can happen. So it would be really wise the first week in January not to dwell on negative thinking. Stay positive and really work on the negative chatter. You want to stay focused on good things, right? This is a card that indicates too that things are really going to come forward, that you're at a new point in your life where things are going to come forward a lot easier than they have in the past, which is really good as long as you can stay positive. So take proactive steps now to start looking at your calendar and what can you cut? What can you move and what is essential? So that when you are offered all these great opportunities, you will know exactly how much time, space, and resources you have available to give. So when we look at this card in combination with the qualifier, which is the Seven of Swords, we see that yes, there is a possibility that you have overcommitted and now you're cutting corners. You're doing what you can to maybe fulfill these obligations. Yeah, you probably are not going to get away with cutting corners or maybe scheming or doing something that maybe you shouldn't. The Seven of Swords represents lies, trickery, cheating, those kind of things, an affair, all kind of nefarious things going on that we know we shouldn't be doing, but we do anyway, and we get caught. So yeah, so definitely when we look at these two cards together, I would say yes. You may be tempted to cut corners. Do not do it because it will come out in the end and it will hurt your reputation. It will hurt your business standing, your relationships, everything. So you want to make sure that whatever you agree to, you have the right resources and the right amount of time. If not, then pass on it. So the second week is a little bit less dramatic. Well, maybe not. We have Temperance, and this is a card that's been coming up quite often in the readings for the last couple of months. So Temperance is a really interesting card. It's one of the major cards, and it basically talks about balance and moderation, tranquility and inner calmness. This could be a really good sign that you have, by the second week of January, found your rhythm. You've gotten through the holidays, you've gotten through these opportunities falling in your lap, and you have an idea of what you want to do and how you want your life to be. So you know that signing a contract for 6 years or 2 years may not be the best thing to do, or it may give you the stability that you've been looking for. You have a good idea of what you want, and it's manifesting and coming forward. You are adapting to what's happening in your career and in your home life, and things are just moving along quite nicely. So this is a really good card. And when we look at it with the qualifier, which is the Two of Cups, we get an idea too that it's about partnerships, it's about medicine, Reiki, it's about being in balance, it's about working together. So it's a really good two-card combo that I would say, yes, you have found your balance and now you're moving forward, and it looks like your home life as well as your work life is in balance. So this is awesome. So everything looks really good for the second week. Third week, we have the Queen of Swords and the Hermit, and these two cards also have been coming up a lot. I swear I really do shuffle the deck. I go through and I sort them out too, because we've been getting lots of inverted cards as well. But yeah, I shuffle them, Reiki them, and still we end up with repeating cards. And this happens because the lessons going on right now are not so specific to each sign. It's more a bigger trend of lessons that are happening. So if you've seen the Queen of Swords come up lately, then you know that it can either represent a person or the characteristics of this person coming forward in your life. The Queen of Swords is basically about being honest, independent, and open-minded. This is a person who has repressed pain or sadness, either from divorce or from grief, and they've had their share of hard knocks. But even though they have the propensity to be bitter, they're not bitter. They're more pragmatic, so they look at life from that viewpoint of things do happen, but we can get through them. So this is a person with great empathy and a person that you want to have in your corner. It could be an older woman who brings forward life lessons and wisdom that she passes on to you, or the characteristics of this type of personality working in your life. This is someone you can call on to for information, wisdom, counseling, and those things. Except that just be really careful that the Queen of Swords doesn't suffer any fools. So what she says to you will be pretty much in your face, but it may be what you need to hear. If this is not a person in your life, then it's the characteristics of, meaning that maybe you are at a point in your life where you're not quite as naive as you used to be about life in general, but yet you do see that there is humor in lots of things that happen happen, and that even though you've suffered your share of pain, you can see the future doesn't have to be that way. So when we look at the qualifier, the Hermit, too, it's really interesting because the Hermit is about taking time for yourself and really working through things, working past some of the deeper issues. It's about spiritual enlightenment, soul searching, and self-reflection. If we're putting the two cards together for the third week, it may be a time of introspect. It may be a time where you either seek counsel, you go talk to a teacher or a guide or a friend that has some wisdom they can lay on you, or you just take the time to kind of check out and do some self-reflection and do some self-care work, which we could all use, of course. So it's really nice that these cards are together because it looks like you're going to value your own needs and you're going to spend time on self-care that you need. I would say that it would be a slower week, that this will be a less fast-paced week for you, but it will be a very fruitful week when you take the time to work on yourself and do the self-care that is very much needed. And the last week of the month looks very good. We have the Three of Cups and the Knight of Wands. So the Three of Cups is about celebration. It can signify also someone from your past is coming back into your life, but it's also about parties and celebrations and things coming together, reasons to celebrate, whether that's a baby shower or a wedding or just seeing old friends and getting together, birthday parties, this kind of things. A group of people coming together with open hearts to celebrate important events. You can't get any better than that, right? So that's what the fourth week looks like. When we add in the Knight of Wands, and Knights, of course, are always about the coming and going of a matter related to you and that you're worried about, or you're watching, let's put it that way. Maybe not worried about, but watching. And this Knight, of course, is the Wands are always about fire. So this is about things going quickly and faster than you expected, and any venture that you've taken on that you are kind of nursing along like this will probably be much more successful than you hoped for, and that could be the party. Yeah, it looks like everything is going to go very well for you in January. You're going to take the time for self-care, you're going to stay balanced, you're going to have some really good news as things transpire with all these new opportunities falling in your lap, reason to celebrate, and you're also going to have the ability to manifest good things. So it looks like a really good month for you, Gemini. And honestly, you're due a good month because it's been a while. It's been kind of up and down for you the last couple of months. So this is good news, and this is the start to a brand new cycle. So hopefully we'll continue on with this optimistic flow. If you would like a personal reading, you can find me at Serenity, link below. And I'll see you for the next video. Reiki blessings. Bye-bye.